This is Brandenburger Tor, which was built in 1713. The gate is located in Pariser Platz. In here saying that Pariser Platz is one of the Berlin's most distinctive squares and occupies a unique place within a ground plan of the city. So this planning is a tribute to Philip Gerlach and the architect commissioned by Frederick William. And then on the top of the gate there are 4 horses. And then a lot of people see these gates and then take a picture. And if you look at the left side, there are American embassy offices in here. And in the right side of the gate, this is French embassy in here. And also you can find some shops like Starbucks nearby this area. And then hotels and the academy buildings and also the bank. And also a lot of entertainment here, such as Mickey Mouse in here. Hello. This is also like American soldiers presenting with the American flag. This is Tauzienstrabe, which is the biggest shopping centers and also malls and shops that are located in Western Berlin. And a lot of entertainment and also the food court and restaurants. People spend their nights in these areas because a lot of night entertainments in this area. This is Kaufhaus des Westens, which is called by KaDeWe, is the largest shopping center in West Berlin. Here you can see and then you can buy the famous brands of clothes, bags, and cosmetics. This is the Zoo of Berlin, yeah. And this is the gate of zoo in Berlin. Now we are in Checkpoint Charlie. Checkpoint Charlie was a symbol of the conflict between the world power during the so-called war. It became one of the most famous inner-city border crossings. At the end of October 1961, Soviet and American tanks faced one another here. In violation of the city's four power status, the East German leadership has tried to inspect members of the Allied armed forces just before the entering East Berlin. Not far away in the memorial to Peter Fechter, who was shot at and wounded by East German border guards as he tried to flee on 1962. He was left to bleed to death because nobody came to his aid. Now we are approaching Checkpoint Charlie. You are entering the American sector carrying weapons of duty forbidden, obey traffic rules. Nearby Checkpoint Charlie, there are lots of new buildings built, and also we can find lots of shops, especially for food shops and also food courts, and then we can buy easily foods nearby here.
Of Berlin, Friedrichshain is a classical old East Berlin worker neighborhood, but becoming more and more hip now. Also a lot of artistic events going on here. Hier links, das ist die Revaler Straße, das ehemalige Reichsbahn-Ausbesserung. It's a creative quarter, Revaler Straße, and then that whole industrial compound now being used by artists, musicians. Night events going on at nighttime, always packed with people, the whole area here. That's what Prenzlauer Berg used to be in the 1990s. U number 1 is the oldest subway line of Berlin, opened in 1902, therefore even older than the subway in New York City. Straight on, it's the Oberbaum Bridge from the 19th century. Across the bridge, former American sector, Kreuzberg. West Berlin. Geradezu die Oberbaumbrücke aus dem 19. Jahrhundert. War mal ein Grenzübergang. Auf der anderen Seite ehemals amerikanischer Sektor Kreuzberg. West Berlin. And since there was West Berlin on the other side of the bridge and East Berlin here, we have a long stretch of wall standing here. The longest stretch, zum Beispiel im Eastside Hotel, mit denen arbeiten wir zusammen, da können Sie einfach reingehen. Das Zelt gehört auch dazu, da kann man Kaffee trinken. Vielleicht auch Zeit für ein Bier, gibt es natürlich auch da. House of the First Beer in the Morning. Also wir hätten hier eine halbe Stunde Pause, weil wir zu spät waren, haben wir nur knapp etwas mehr als 15 Minuten, Viertel nach geht's weiter. Wenn Sie auf Toilette gehen wollen, Eastside Hotel können Sie gerne benutzen, wir arbeiten mit denen zusammen, gehen Sie einfach rein. Das Zelt gehört auch zum Hotel dazu, können Sie Kaffee trinken gehen oder auch ein Bier.
In 1990, 118 artists from 21 countries painted the wall here. This act, which would have only been allowed in West Berlin previously, uniquely gave expression to the joy widely felt at the falling of the Berlin Wall. The East Side Gallery, which is 1.3 kilometers long, is the longest stretch of the rear barrier to be preserved in Berlin.
The remaining Great Wall Berlin is located exactly in front of East Side Hotel. And then what happened with the remaining the Berlin Great Wall? Many people and also local artists come together in here to make contributions to paint them. So the wall is even more beautiful with a lot of art and cultures ornaments, and we call it as a East Side Gallery. So this is very famous reminding of Great Wall in Berlin. If you see the thickness of remaining Berlin's Great Wall is around 25 to 30 centimeters. So actually it's not so thick, but you can imagine that no even car can hit the wall, no even man can try to hit or break the wall. It means that the wall is so robust. In the other side of Berlin Wall, there is a river in here, and then it's a unique hostel. They call it Eastern Comfort Berlin Floating Hostel, where you can stay for some days. You may also see Pirates Berlin's written on the wall next to the Great Wall of Berlin. That's the Wall of Berlin. We are heading to the famous bridge in Berlin. It's called Oberbaumbrücke. This is very beautiful bridge, and it's very old bridge next to the Great Wall Berlin. And it's also the river. Oberbaumbrücke, the bridge built in 1894, from one of the 8 inner city checkpoints after 1961. After difficult negotiations, the first of a total of 4 permits agreement was signed between the Senate of Berlin and the government of GDR on 1963. Tens of thousands of West Berliners crossed the border at Oberbaumbrücke for a day visit in time which followed. Over 2 years after the wall was built, they were again able to visit relatives in East Berlin between 1963 and 1964. After the lifting of travel restrictions of citizens of GDR was announced at a press conference of the Central Committee of the SED on the evening of 1989, the border at Oberbaumbrücke was also open. Currywurst is the traditional Berlin food, which is consists of sausages with the curry sauce and a bread. So you can find the currywurst in almost every place in Berlin. So we will buy once and then we'll show you how it looks like. Okay, this is the currywurst where the sausage cut it in the small pieces and served by curry sauce. And also we can eat it together with the bread. In Berlin, you may find a lot of Turkish traditional food. They call it as doner kebab, and then it is relatively cheaper and it's very delicious food. You can eat with only 3 euros, for example, and then it's big enough for you. So now we eat kebab, chicken kebab that shows in this video. It's a lot of slices of chicken, barbecue, and also with fresh vegetables. And then also in this restaurant you can find original Turkish desserts. It's sweet and delicious. So time to eat. In Berlin, you can find easily Asian restaurant or Chinese restaurants that sells a lot and delicious foods from many Asian countries. And then now we are eating kind of like a noodles, and then with soup, and also with the shrimp crackers. In Berlin, a lot of cafe that you might find. Kamsbeck Hub is the popular cafe and bread shop in Berlin. So we eat now cheesecake. and then also donuts and also cafe latte in one of the cafes nearby Kadewe. It's very delicious cheesecake. You might also find easily Starbucks coffee in Berlin, especially in the city center, in the train stations, or in subway. In Berlin also you are easily to find waffle. Berliner waffle is a traditional food, crepers in Berlin, and you can combine it with ice cream and then also with a syrup that you want. Now we are in the 37th floor of Parkin Hotel, the highest floors in this hotel, and then from this side we can see all panorama of Berlin city from the left side. And then also from the right side. And in front of us we can see the tallest tower in the city. It's called TV Tower. And the TV tower is even taller than this floor.